Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. My name is Bintu. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're returning, welcome back. So in today's video, we're just gonna do a chit chat, get ready with me. I'm not going anywhere, but I want to do my makeup for this video. So we're gonna do something light and airy and super quick. So let's get started on that. I'm also gonna be answering some questions that I asked you guys to ask me on Instagram back in like May. Completely forgot. Like I saw the questions, I was like, oh my gosh, these are so good. And then I just never sat down to answer them. Mind you, I've been making videos since May. It just completely slipped my mind that I had questions to answer. So we're gonna do that in today's video. I forgot this guy's name, but if I remember, I'll put it on the screen. He started this trend where like, you don't wear too much foundation. You just put on your concealers, your contours, whatever, and then put on like, kind of spot your foundation in the areas that you want to put it in and not all over your face. So I haven't worn a full face of foundation in like a year, maybe. I've been doing this since he's been doing this and I love it. We're gonna go ahead and get started on that. I'm gonna put on primer and I'm actually gonna set my face just in case I wanna take like pictures and stuff, who knows? Who knows, just in case I wanna take pictures. So because this is not a makeup tutorial, I'm not gonna explain what I'm using. I'll probably just put it somewhere on the screen and we can go ahead and get started with the actual contents of the video, what we came here for. The first question is, what's your workout routine? Right now, my workout split is 4 ab workouts, 4 sets of 20 each. And for the ones that are timed, it's like 45 seconds. I do 4 sets of Russian twists with an 8-pound medicine ball, 4 sets of 20 of those. And then I do 4 sets of bicycle crunches. I actually really like bicycle crunches because I feel like it is very effective. And then I do side planks. I do side planks, no weights, no nothing, just with my body because I want that S curve. So 45 seconds on each side. And the last thing I do is the ab roller. Now with the ab roller, in the moment, it kind of hurts my lower back. I don't know if maybe like I'm doing it incorrectly, but I'm doing it like the way I see it in the video. So in the moment, it kind of hurts my lower back, but after I finish the workout, my lower back doesn't hurt. Whereas when I was lifting and doing like deadlifts, those did not hurt my back at all. But after, like when my body gets sore, my lower back used to kill me. So the point where like, sometimes I would be sitting down and just tearing up because I'm in so much pain. And it's not like soreness, it's like actual pain. So when it comes to my back, I'm like super sensitive about that. I do that 3 days a week. I hate core and cardio, so like, I just run through it, like race through it because I'm trying to get it over with. And I have such a hard time doing my makeup and talking. I need to figure out what that's about. That's my split right now, and it's specifically because I want to get abs. Now after my birthday, I am going to get back into bulking because I love lifting weights. What? I love lifting weights. I don't know what it is, but lifting weights just make me feel so damn powerful. What Cardi B said? Growing up, like I was skinny all of my life. So when I was finally putting on weight in sophomore year of college, I didn't want to stop. Like I wanted to keep putting on weight until I was one of the thick girls and I became one of the thick girls. Now, for me to be a thick girl, but not like the way I look, especially in my face, oh my God, I was given moon. What? My face was so rounder than a ring light. Like it was so round. And I hated that for me. I hated it so much. For me, it was like, yes, I wanted to be thick, but when I got thick, I didn't like the way my face looked. And then when I lost that weight, I missed being thick. So what am I supposed to do now? I hate everything. What is that called? Body dysmorphia? I don't know for real. I thought body dysmorphia was you didn't know what you looked like you think you look like something that you're not. Maybe I'm getting that completely wrong, but I didn't like, I wanted to be thick. When I got thick, I didn't like it. I decided to lose weight. I didn't like how it looked when I lost weight. I didn't like how my body looked when I lost weight, but I felt good and I knew my face was pretty. But going to the gym in general did make me feel good. So I just kept going to the gym, whether I was doing cardio or whether I was bulking. I just enjoyed being there. What's the next question? What's your current state of mind? Oh gosh. So I'm sure in May, the answer would have been different. Last week, the answer would have been different. But today, right now, like, I am so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed because I feel like I have a lot going on. And I've turned into this type of person where when I know I have a lot going on, I end up feeling anxious about the stuff that I have going on before I actually do it. I don't know when and why I turned into that type of person, but it's really weird for me. Like, it's really weird for me. I do suffer from mild anxiety, but this is different. Like, this feeling is different. And so currently I am overwhelmed. I feel anxious. I don't feel like I have things under control like I usually do. And I know control has such a negative connotation to it, but when it's about your life, your career path, like growth, personal development, when it's about stuff like that, like, of course you need to be in control. You're not just gonna grow willy-nilly. You're not just gonna get on the career path that you want by accident. Like, you need to be in control of certain aspects, and I feel like I'm not in control of any of that right now. I'm definitely going through it. I hope everybody prays for me. That's my current state of mind. How did you decide on what dog to get? So this is such a funny story, and I feel like this video is gonna be so long because each answer is totally long-winded, and I feel like I have so much more to go through. How did I decide on what dog to get? So I didn't know what breed of dog to get. I just knew I wanted a toy size, teacup size, a very small dog, because I wanted to be able to take them everywhere with me. And I also wanted a boy dog because I didn't want a girl dog in here putting period blood on my furniture. That's what I didn't want. I feel like, I don't know, like, I give boy mom, that's just me. But when it came to deciding on the dog, so I reached out to a couple breeders, a couple adoption agencies, and it was the breeders that got back to me rather quickly. So I went to one breeder, he gave me a dog, but so I went to pick up this dog with my cousin in Springfield. Springfield to Boston is an hour and a half, and it's during COVID, so they have this policy where, like, you can't go into their place to get the dog. They'll just bring it out to you. So the lady brings out the dog, and I get him from, I'm inside the car. So she brings out the dog, and I get him from the window, put him in my lap. He's so cute, or like, you know, having doggy mommy time, whatever. And I wrap him up in a blanket, and he's fine. I get home, I put this dog down on the floor, and the dog can't walk. The dog cannot walk. I put the dog down and he could not walk. Oh my God, if I could insert a video, I will. The dog couldn't walk. I'm frantic. At this point, I am frantic. I reached out to the breeders. I'm like, what did you give me? Because this is not what I asked for. This is literally not what I asked for. Like, take it back. Take the dog back because I don't want it. This is done for. They're not answering. So I go to a vet, like a clinic, and they tell me that at one point the dog could have walked, but something happened to the dog mentally that now he cannot walk. First thing I thought was, oh, they dropped that dog on his head. They dropped this baby on head. But obviously I have no idea. And the doctors can't explain what happened either. They just know that this dog did know how to walk, or does know how to walk, but doesn't have the mobility to do it anymore because of what happened to him mentally. That was a $200 bill just to tell me that the dog cannot walk. The dog cannot think to walk. That was a $200 bill. So I get, you know, as much documentation as I possibly can. I call another cousin, I grab his car, and I zoom back out to Springfield. I tell the readers what happened, and they're like, oh, they have no idea what happened. They didn't know he couldn't walk. They didn't know he couldn't walk. Sick in the fucking head. They give me another dog, another Pomeranian, and they had sent me pictures. They sent me pictures of all of the options that they had, and I picked one. I picked one of the dogs on my way bringing back this dog. They give me the dog that I had quote unquote picked, and I was like, this is bigger than what, you know, shows in the picture. They're like, yeah, it was a couple months ago. That's when she was a baby. She was a she. The second time, she was a she. And she was big. She was like, she was small at the time, but for a Pomeranian that grows long hair, she would have been a medium-sized dog. They're leaving, and I'm looking at this dog. I'm like, yeah, this is not what I want. So I call him back. I called the breeder back. And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, like, she's entirely too big for me, so I'm not going to be able to. Oh, no, she didn't answer when I called, so I texted her. And I'm telling her, like, this is not what, like, I can't handle this. Please come back and take this dog. Why she cussed me out? She literally cussed me out via text message. If I have the text message, I will literally post it on here. But she cussed me out talking about, this is what you asked for. This is what you're getting. You can't be wasting people's time. Y'all got bad, defective dogs. And I'm the problem? Y'all don't see no accountability, no nothing whatsoever. I'm the problem with your defective dogs. Legitimate, like, I'm not even gonna ask you to be for real. Another breeder was able to take her. Now I'm back on a different website looking at different breeders, and this other breeder had poodles, like toy size poodles. I was like, okay, like, these look cute. The kennel only had 2 though. I guess the mommy poodle only gave birth to 2 dogs. I was like, oh, okay. I sent my brother the picture of the 2, and I let him pick like which one I should get. And my brother picked Malibu. So when I went there, they were really nice, like an older couple just living out in the mountains by themselves, and they were really nice. So I see the little 2 poodles running around. One of them is like super excited, and he was scared, but he was barking. And that's one thing I didn't want. I didn't want a dog that would just bark at anything and everything. I can, like, my ears cannot do the barking. And I come from a family where we've had dogs like almost all of my life. So the barking just was not going to work for me. So I chose Malibu. Mind you, he's hiding like under a table. And his brother is also like running away from me, but barking excessively. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that one. So I got him out. The next question is, how do you balance content creation and being present? This was a good one. And if I remember correctly, Christina asked me this. Planning, scheduling. I just recently started planning out and scheduling out posting content, like, down to the time, because that's what's gonna work for me. Like I said before, I love routine. I love things that are planned out, things that are done ahead of time. That way, when it comes down to it, you just post it, you know? It's different for everybody though. I feel like some people seemingly post in the moment, and it looks really good. Like, they get really good quality content just by posting whatever it is that they're doing in that moment. And I think that comes down to your devices. Like, you invest in a good camera, you invest in a good phone, mic, whatever it is, lighting, so you're able to do certain things just like on the spot. But for me, I feel like things need to be planned out in order for it to look good the way that it does in my head. That was so straightforward. I'm glad we're like sticking to the schedule, and I hope I don't look too crazy right now. Next question. Best and worst first date. I just reposted one of Shanika Adams' Instagram posts where she asked, what has your date done that turned you off so much that you didn't give them a second chance? And reading people's stories were so funny. Like, people had really bad experiences. Then I was like, oh, do you guys want to see mine? And I had an overwhelming amount of people say yeah. And I thought, like, I could get away with not doing it at all. I'm gonna let it spill. So I went out to eat. This date was like anticipated for a month because he asked me out during Ramadan and I wasn't gonna go out to eat during Ramadan. So I didn't. Then in May, we finally decided on a date and we went. We went to a really nice spot. It was a black-owned restaurant. I love it there. I would go back each and every chance I get. But later on, we went to a hookah lounge. We go to a hookah lounge and this man's ex-girlfriend shows up. The reason why the date was bad, like, it's one thing to run into your ex in a public area that everyone attends because this is Boston and it's very small. It's another thing to give them so much attention that like other people in the area are noticing and they're like, what is going on? That's the embarrassment that I stay far away from, far away from. And it was weird. So after that, like, it was over, stopped talking to him, whatever. And then a couple months later, he reached back out, we're chatting again, not like talking, just like chatting again. His ex-girlfriend hits me up once again. This time when she hits me up, she sends me, she's like, stay safe out here, sis. She sends that message and then 2 screenshots of this kid talking to her, kind of like professing his love to her. Why are you sending me this bullshit? You think I give a fuck? So I'm like, leave me alone. Because I don't care. Mind you, like, I'm saying the same things to somebody else. So why are you sending me this? Because you think I'm in love with him or because you think he's in love with me? Let's say what it is. But she sends that and I block her immediately. And that was it. But that's the reason why it was so bad. And so I called him. I'm like, why is she doing stuff like this? Mind you, this is somebody at this point that is just a friend, right? Like, you're just a friend at this point. You embarrass me to the point where I feel like I just can't take you seriously as a man. And I don't think anybody in my life will either. I'm not even gonna tell you to be for real, because you know you was wrong. So he's like, I don't know why she would do that. She's crazy. I'll never let this happen ever again. Like, I'm gonna end this shit right now. Great. But at that point, it dawned on me, like, there's people in this world who enjoy chaos. I will rather block you, your number, like everything, in an effort to avoid a back and forth, a discourse. There's people who let things get that far because in the back of their head, like subconsciously, they enjoy it. So they let it happen or they let it fester or whatever the case may be. I don't know what he was telling her, what she was telling him, whatever their relationship was, like whatever conversations they had about me, I have no idea. I just know that it was enough for her to think that I was still fucking with him when I wasn't. But it was also enough for him to let whatever feelings she had towards me fester because he enjoyed the chaos and I don't. Like, I will block you, I'll block her, like I'll block everybody so that I can keep my peace because you like, the fuck do I look like? But that was my worst date. Now for a best date, like I really can't pick. I really can't pick because I feel like I have so much fun on my dates. Like even dates I go on with friends, like guy friends that I consider dates, like they're just so fun. And I'm such an out to eat girl. Like I love a good restaurant. I love a good hookah lounge after. I love a good spot where we can get some drinks. Like, let's go. Let's just go. Drop everything and let's go. Let me see the best. Okay, drum roll, please. Now, okay, so the reason why this is the best is only because it was out of state. So the things that I did were very much normal here in Boston, but because it was a new experience out of state, that's what made it the best. I went to DC and I went on a date with this guy. It was real cool. He picked me up, we went to a restaurant and she knew the manager there, so she was giving him a bunch of discounts on stuff, free food, just a bunch of free stuff. And it was a really nice place. Put on my best dress, my fave dress ever. And we sat down. They had the little baggie holder. Not a lot of restaurants have that, so it was a nice touch. The food was really good. Oh my God, we got cocktails, and the manager came out and she was like, try these wines. They were good. And then after, we were Ubering everywhere because he had parked, we went to a hookah lounge that was nearby, and his brother was there on a date also. So we linked up with his brother and it turned into like a double date. His date was also really cool, so we connected really quickly. The hookah lounge was nice. You know, DC vibe, like it's really a good time. So not only was the date good because it was out of state, but it was also like a back to back to back. It was like dinner and hookah one night, and then another day of the weekend we went out to a lounge, and it was him and all his friends. Me and one of my friends went, and it was a vibe. Like that was one of my best dates. I feel like I do a lot of the same stuff, just in different places. So the location really matters to me. It's one thing to go out to eat, go out for drinks, go out to hookah, but like the restaurant that I go to next has to be better than the one that I went to last. That's what makes that date better than before, right? Like the experience, it's not necessarily about the experience because I experienced the same things and went out to eat is always the same. But especially when you go to the same type of restaurants, like the really high-end restaurants, it's always a steak, salmon, or lamb chops. That's really good. And then the lobster mac and cheese, or the lobster bisque, or calamari, or whatever it is. Whatever it is, like it's usually the same thing. It's just this restaurant has to be better than the next restaurant, and this hookah lounge got to be better than the last hookah lounge. Yeah. So that's what it is for me. And then when the date carries out, like let's pick it back up for brunch on Sunday. Right? Like, that's what I like. Damn, that was also long-winded, and I'm almost done with my makeup. Do you believe in astrology? I do believe in astrology. I don't know, does that make me a conspiracy? Conspiracy? That's what it is. Right? Why do I believe in astrology? Why do I believe in astrology? So I am an Aquarius, and if you guys know anything about Aquarians, people think we lack emotion, or we don't show our emotion. People think because we're air signs, people think we're very free-spirited, which we are. People think we're mean, stuck up, whatever. The main thing is we don't talk about our emotions. Now for me, that's absolutely true. Simply because, and it's not because the moon is in whatever, I don't talk about my emotions because there's nothing you can do until I get through what it is that I'm going through. And that's what makes common sense, right? Like, so when I'm going through something emotionally, I like to think very rationally, because that is what's going to get me through what it is that I'm going through. So no, I'm not going to talk to you and cry to you about what's going on. I'm going to get through it first, like a logical thinking person. And then I'm going to talk about what happened. So it's not that like we don't even think about our emotions, or we don't feel. We do feel, it's just we have to get through it first. And maybe there's nothing you can do about that. Let me even look it up. Let me see what people think about Aquarius people. People born under the Aquarius sign are said to be progressive, independent, intelligent, unique, and idealistic. Their elemental sign is air, the same as that for Gemini and Libra. Like air, Aquarians don't have a single clear shape and seem to defy categorization. Apparently, that's what it is. That's what it is. So I always take it with a grain of salt, and I would recommend everybody to do the same. Now, if you're, whoever asked me this, if you're a different zodiac sign and you're wondering about yourself, like, I don't remember who asked me that. So I think people's misconception with astrology is that it's made up, or I think people have to understand that astrology is basically how the stars and the planets affect the human body. I think that's the easiest way that I was able to understand it. And I think like if and when society understands that as well, we'll be able to have different types of conversations about astrology. But also when people stop generalizing it, generalizing certain traits about certain signs, then there will be a deeper understanding, right? How do you balance your work schedule? I'm sorry, how do you balance your schedule, work, gym, and a social life? I work from home and I love it so much. Like, I wouldn't give this up for anything. Nothing. I love working from home and I would recommend it for everyone because that is the best way to balance your life. For me, before the pandemic, I was working in person. My first job out of college, I was working in person for 5 months. During that time, I was waking up, so I worked 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I would wake up and I lived in Mattapan. I worked in downtown for a month. During that time, I would wake up at 6:30, have to leave my house at before 8 so that the train could get me there on time. Had to leave my house before 8, so let's say 7:30, so that I can get to work by 9 or a little bit before 9 so I can grab breakfast or whatever. When I finished work, I would get home, I would leave at 5 something. I wouldn't get home until maybe 6:37, and that was because everyone worked downtown, and so everyone took the train at the same time. And because of that, I would go to the train station and there would be like lines. It was almost like a queue to get into the train. And so for me, because I got off right at 5 and I get to the train station at whatever time I got, and I always would wait for the 3rd train in order to be able to get on, because there were rows of people in front of me who were there before, who apparently could leave work before 5. I couldn't leave work before 5, but it was like you had to take a number and wait. I always waited for the 3rd train. I got lucky if I took the 2nd train, but I would always take the 3rd train, and we was on there like sardines each trip. What? Everybody worked downtown. Started working in Cambridge. Now, Cambridge is a little further than downtown, so I had to leave my house maybe 15 minutes before, and it was the same thing, and I did that for months. But this time, like, I would leave my house 7:15, come back home at 7:15. It was like a 12-hour day for me. I was up at whatever time and I was back home at whatever time. The weekends were the only free time I felt like I had to do everything that I couldn't do during the week. Now, at that time, I wasn't content creating. I didn't work another job. I didn't have an artist to manage. I wasn't doing any of the work that I'm doing now. I was just working. So on weekends, like, I would either go out, see my friends, or not. And at that time, it was enough for me, but it always dawned on me in the back of my mind, like, this cannot be it. This can't be it. Like, there has to be more to it than this. And I used to always wonder, like, this is what our parents did? This is what our parents are doing still? Like, they didn't get tired of it. Like, this was their life and they just accepted it. So when the pandemic happened and we started working from home, I don't want to say I appreciated that. I appreciated the pandemic. No, absolutely not. But the way in which the world changed has definitely benefited me, to the point where I can work from home and get everything done, not only at home, but in a timely manner. So I still work 9 to 5. Now I'm up at 8, take my dog outside to use the bathroom. There's a dog park downstairs, so he goes to the bathroom like in the building. I don't have to leave my house. There's a gym in the building downstairs, so I don't have to leave my house. There's a lobby so I can get coffee. There's a Keurig, like everything is here. I never need to leave my house. I also have a washer dryer in the unit, so like everything is very easily accessible. And for me, that means doing laundry in between meetings. That means taking Malibu out throughout the day. That means being able to wash the dishes and tidy up. That way, when I go out on the weekends, I don't feel bad because my house is a mess, or whatever the case may be. Now that I have things done during the week, on the weekends, when I have so much more free time, I can focus on artist management. I can focus on the other things that I have going on in my life that will further. It's almost like knocking 2-3 birds with one single stone. It's almost like I have more hours of the day. Almost like that. So I am all done with the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I do have a bunch more questions left to answer, but I will do a part 2. So make sure you're tuned into that, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.